So what do you call yourself? Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Hey.
Hey, what can I do for you this fine day?
This is your destiny. Hot, hot, hot. Right now.
Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
Kick it.
Come on in and enjoy yourself.
Right now.
We gon' party like no one else. Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
Jason.
Hi,
Hello there, darling. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm holding on.
I love it.
Listen, today has been todaying, and I was like, life is not about to let me miss out on talking to my Jason, because that's how I feel. You know what I mean?
I love that. I love that. I appreciate that. That made me feel good. It's
Ah,
today has been a day as well for me. So
and I appreciate you for taking time out of your schedule, because I know you have been busy and things are just flying off the hinges and you're doing the most in the best way. And I love
thank,
to see it.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is it's been quite the ride. This is
Yeah.
my first time being a producer on something that actually got a theatrical release. So it's like one of the biggest accomplishments ever for me. I think
Yeah. And a lot of people might think of it as an overnight success, but we know that's not the truth. You've been
exactly. This was more
kicking
like
this and etching this, taking some wins and some L's. We won't call them losses, we'll call them lessons. Some
right.
are tougher and hurt harder than others. But
Exactly.
now that you're at this mama, we made it moment, like, how does that feel for you?
It I feel like this is where the work finally gets to start for me, right? Because don't get me wrong, God gave me a wonderful gift, to be able to share with the world. But I never forget I was shooting the movie Keanu with Key and Peele. And it was my first time ever shooting a movie in New Orleans since I had left New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
So, I got all kind of people who know me from the hood. They like, Jason, I sweep the flow. Like, I'll do whatever, just help me get a job. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to help them get a job. I didn't even know what job to tell them to try to get. But now all that's changed. Not only can I tell you what job to get and how to do the job, but I can also give you the job.
I
So-
love that. I love that. Talk about the growth and evolution. Say, look, I didn't just do it for myself. That's called a change maker. You are definitely making a difference. And it's about utilizing your platform and being responsible with it in all aspects, right? Because
Absolutely.
people, they'll remember you from how they knew you then, but to see your growth will either help them to raise the bar themselves or to say, you know what, if he did it, I can definitely do it, and ask him for help. Because I mean, that's my boy, you know?
Absolutely. 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 That's really what I want to be, is just like a beacon of hope. That doesn't make me flawless. That doesn't make me anything close to perfect. If anything, it makes me more relatable.
Yeah.
I want young people, or even it doesn't matter who it is. They don't even have to be young or just black or whatever it may be, but just see me and go, yo, in the face of adversity, I could weather the storm, and there will be people on the other side supporting me. Like I really believe that, we all have to be here for each other, and
Absolutely.
I hope my light shining is darkening. I mean, lightening up some darkness for somebody.
It is. And as long as you keep that level of inspiration and transparency, because people, they'll get to their success stories, but they don't want to talk about the hard times or the pivotal moments and the fork in the road where they were like, hey, man, you know what? This hurt. I can't be taking all these beatings for just myself. I ain't doing this no more. Y'all can have
Right.
it back. You know,
Right.
we've had those days. I'm sorry that was just a flash out moment for self. But whoo, I'm back. I'm back. Talking
No,
about
no.
just 10 minutes ago, Jay. But it's just it's one of those things that you have to remember how far you've come in order to say, you know what, we have finally gotten to the point to where we know how to control our thermostat. And when you're bringing things to the forefront, and now we're in these theaters nationwide, and the world recognizes not just your name, but your craft and your ability to make it happen in the face of adversity. I mean, I've been practicing for the next thriller. Wait, hold on, wait. That was my, hey, first of all, that was not a comedic scene. That was me dying. Oh, Yeah. So if you ever need me, I'm here.
I
But
got you.
that we're here on the screens. I mean, what should we expect when we get in there and we see all of this top tier entertainment that you're bringing along with you?
Mhm. Yeah, it's so crazy, right? Because we definitely had a fearless leader, Wes Miller. And for those who don't know Wes, like Wes was a lawyer and he's from Memphis. And not only was he a lawyer, but he was a lawyer that people hate to see coming. Like he was amazing at his job. And then one day he picks up a camera and he's like, I'm gonna make movies. You know what I mean? So, a black mama, they like, boy, what are you doing? You went to law school to be a filmmaker? And he did. And he had, he's been killing it. And he's just like nobody I've ever met. You know what I mean? So he creates this super safe space that even though like I hadn't met DreamDoll and NLE really prior to us doing the film, we met maybe, I don't know, 18 hours before we started filming.
Stop
We
it.
had such this beautiful space to be able to work in and be creative, you know what I mean? And they didn't
Yeah.
come with these attitudes, especially Bryson. Like he was like, we could kill the NLE thing right now. You know what I mean? I'm gonna leave the ice at home, leave that whole persona at home. And he just had 100 questions. You know what I mean? Like that's when I saw like, oh, this is a 20-year-old kid. I mean, he's 22 now, but it's like he's at the time he was 20, like, and locked in. You know what I mean? And just really, really ready to work. So I think we made something beautiful. But this film, it follows Dream Doll and I, these two parents who are searching for their daughter, who's played by Tyler Babarous, who's also, I mean, I tell everybody she's my new favorite actor. I
I
feel
love that.
honored to be a part of her journey at all. But we're searching for our daughter who's being sex trafficked by NLE's character, King David. Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember laughing with Master P about this conversation, because we were talking about the R. Kelly situation, right? And as a parent, how you would feel if you were ever in that situation as a father, like what would you do? You know what I mean? And you're like, yo, I'm kicking R. Kelly's door in with 2 feet. You know what I mean? But
Right.
this was a complete different level. You know what I mean? When you got somebody who is not sex trafficking your daughter out of the country. You know what I mean? She didn't go on some crazy field trip. Just a
Yeah.
second. Oh, sorry.
I know. Take your time. Take your time. I'm here.
Yeah, so when you have somebody who's not, like I said, it doesn't feel like there's myth added to it, right? And
Mhm.
your daughter didn't go off on some crazy field trip or try to run away or anything like that. These people are right around the corner from your house.
That's scary
You know,
because it's
it's
so real.
It's so scary. And to think that this could be happening to your child at 15 years old is crazy. You know what I mean? So it's following these two parents who are like, we gonna go get our baby. You know what I mean? Like no matter what comes along with this. And it's it's really interesting to watch. A lot of times you watch action movies and they try to throw these scenes in there to like sort of ground the movie, right? But like this movie is the right amount of action, but it gives you a break with these beautiful drama pieces that are happening. You know what I mean? And you see this character, Riri, that's played by Siobhan, she absolutely kills it. I mean, like I was watching it in the theater with some people and like they clapped twice during that speech. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I love it.
So the
I
lights on. I like this. This is
yeah.
good.
Yeah, so I like that everybody really held it down, you know what I mean? And I think that for a niche film, like it was just a different bag for me to dig in. I never saw
Yeah.
myself as an action star before this, but I'm like,
And I
yeah,
love
I'm
that
ready
because
to
you're
be
not the
one of the
typical
bad boys.
action star. But I tell you this, he can leave a cape at home. We know he's gonna bring the action.
You
And when you
did.
start talking about things like sex trafficking, you can
Mhm.
almost call this edutainment. You're
Right,
entertaining us in the source of a film, but you're educating us on how it happens. It doesn't always look the way we think it look, or if it's not making headline news, it doesn't mean that it's not happening. And in
right,
Louisiana, I mean, you're from here, you know
right,
the high rate of sex trafficking that goes on. This is a festival state. A lot of
right,
things happening in plain sight, and it's so bad right now,
right,
and it's one of those things that might make us ask more questions. What would we do
It's-
in
that's
those
the thing.
circumstances?
That's the thing, it's like getting these dialogues started and being aware. You know what I mean? Because like you were saying earlier, like people want to see the Instagram highlight reel of the world, just in
Yeah,
general, forgetting that it could have a vicious underbelly. You know what I mean? Like not all of these people let the right spirits lead them and guide them. So it's important to have these conversations as if they're a real thing. You know what I mean? Like to think like when we were young, for instance, we had fire drills at school. Now my kids are having shooting drills at school. These
yeah,
things are very real, so when you talk about something like sex trafficking and you have kids at home, this is a good way to show them how real it is. You know what I mean?
right.
Without really having to have these uncomfortable conversations that you barely know anything about. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We can get these dialogues started in the community and figure out how to, you know, make sure none of this happens to anybody that we know.
And it also shows that it does not discriminate. It doesn't
Exactly.
always end up on a spring fling, a field trip to Aruba somewhere. Like, nah, they went to the grocery store for milk, never came back. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, simple
Right.
as that. And
Right.
years go by in plain sight with all these cameras and people watching. You think someone, but it's so sophisticated now. And parents putting themselves in that, what would I do moment? It sounds good, big, bad, and bold, or I'll pull up and yeah.
Mhm.
But they're not always next door in order for you to find it. So how do you even begin to look and ask those questions? And I know
Right.
this, I mean, it's black heat, bringing the heat, all the smoke, all
You
the
did.
smoke.
You
And
did.
it's one of those things that we're excited it's in theaters worldwide. And it would
Yes.
almost be selfish of me to say, well, what are you working on next? Because I know you're always working on something, right?
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
want
yeah.
you to think of
I got
this.
I got a couple things in the bag. And it's beautiful. I actually I have three more movies, wow, that are already in the queue.
Wait. What? Did you see it? Oh, did you feel that? No.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'll be ready by the time that third one come around, Jay. That third one.
Yeah, we definitely working on this side. You know what I mean? And it's been such a beautiful thing being able to embrace the crew too.
Yes.
I started a 501(c)(3) called Dream Seeker to teach all the below line jobs, right? So I think especially as Black people, we get advertised and there's all this propaganda around being the talent. You know what I mean? Rather you shooting a basketball, running a football, acting, rapping, whatever it is, they're like, go be the talent. And it's so easy for so many of us. A lot of us have that written in our essence already. You know what I mean? You see small kids picking up a baseball and a bat or dancing and rapping and all of that at a young age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just already in our essence. But what they don't tell us is how to become how to become a an owner of a team, right? They don't tell you how to become the producer of a movie. They don't tell you even what it is to be an AC or a gaffer. You know what I mean? These people are like,
Yeah.
"What even are these jobs? Like what?" And
Yes.
when I first stepped on the set, I was blown away. I was like, who are these 100 other people? What's
People.
happening? What are
All
they
the time,
doing?
and
You know
nothing
what I
happens
mean?
without them because they take care of all of the minor details that make the big difference, from the
Exactly.
lighting, the makeup, the wardrobe, even those who are doing the research to see what scenes we're going, why are we wearing the colors we're wearing, why is this makeup popping, why is that one not? Like,
Exactly.
people are experts at these, and you're right. When you start opening the lanes, it doesn't just become a hobby to us, it becomes a career.
Exactly, exactly. And when you talk about culture, right, in general, we can't get upset that hold on 2 seconds. So when you get to this conversation of culture, right? Like I think so many times people are like, oh, they shouldn't be telling our stories, and they should let Black people tell our stories and all. It's deeper than just talent. It's deeper than money. You know what I mean? It's about like I never forget when we were in Chicago shooting the Shy, right? They had a white guy who was our assistant director at the time, and they're the person that's really yelling at everybody and really making everybody move on a time schedule, right? Very, very important job, very important person. But he was still a white guy in the middle of the hood, and he's telling these black people who live there, shh. And one thing you can't do
It
is
didn't
push no
feel the
black
same. It
woman.
didn't sit right. It just,
Right.
a little off key.
Yeah, you couldn't shush no black woman, and I just looked at her and I said, ma'am, please, like,
He's doing his
if you
job.
into the shot or like my mic can hear what you're saying right now. She was like, oh, all right, well, y'all lucky he out there because it's a whole different vibe. You know what I mean? And like we have that superpower to be able to go connect with the same people that we're trying to entertain, So thank God for streaming. Now it's allowed us to gain access straight to the consumer, right? And
Eliminate a lot of excuses.
yeah, and now we also have this beautiful film like Black Heat that we've learned that we could put it in the theaters ourselves too if we want to
I
do
like
it. You know
it.
what I mean? So
You gotta
so
say
it's
that with
lit.
your
We all
chest.
the way up right now.
I'm
I'm
here
excited.
for it.
I'm
I want you to think of this as an extension of your office. So if you have
excited.
different things going on, you make your way back to Louisiana, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette. Come on down. I got you.
I
It's a
definitely
family
will.
reunion in the making.
I
So just
definitely
pull up
will.
on me.
So I'm gonna tell you before I tell anybody, I had this idea today that I wanted my city to experience the red carpet and what that could be like, right? So I think I'm gonna probably end up using Broad Theater. I got a partner down there in New Orleans who gonna set it all up, but we are gonna give the full red carpet experience
I love it.
to the public.
I
And
love it.
never seen that done before. You know what I mean? But I want my city to experience that. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it will be my gift to them. So you have heard
Yeah.
first, and I will expect you to be there on the red
Thank
carpet.
you.
We'll give you a heads up,
Hey,
so
listen, if there's anything that we can do to assist you in making that pop and making that vision a reality for you, take me up on that. This is definitely an extension of your office. So, with all of our platforms, we'll help you get the word out because this is important. Representation matters. God gave you a gift not to keep it hidden to yourself, but so you can be on this platform and expand it for others. Once they see it, they'll know that they can achieve it as well.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Boy, you got work to do. We got red carpets.
I
We got,
know,
we got, wait, we got things to practice. You know
Ah.
what I mean? We got things to do. So let you go ahead and get back to work. You chase the sun or let the sun chase you. But either way, get after it. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. You heard me.
I love you too, baby. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon, okay?
All right, later.
Bye-bye.